So, Brian, how does solar energy contribute to reducing the carbon footprint in Massachusetts overall?
Right. It has a significant environmental impact that's positive and underlying motivation for a lot of folks to look at solar and other renewables. So having a solar system on your house allows you to have energy independence. You're not relying on the grid, and you're actually producing power and oftentimes supplying the grid so that your friends and neighbors are getting power from your solar system during certain parts of the day. So it allows to offset the demand on either burning coal or natural gas or other fossil fuels that are burned to make the electricity. And then here in Massachusetts, we have significant support for renewables, specifically solar. And the state has made it really clear that, due to the fact we don't source any fossil fuels here, and we now burn only natural gas in the state, that solar is heavily relied upon for not only the individuals' energy independence, but for the state's energy independence, and gives us some security against the fossil fuel market as well.
Are there any local initiatives or community solar projects that you guys support?
Sure, we don't actively play in the community solar um, space, given that we don't install those types of systems. But for instance, I live in Beverly and Massachusetts, and there was a local company that did a large installation on an old landfill, which is great land use for solar and renewable installations. And that allowed folks to essentially receive that want to take part in that and support that on their own, that they can receive basically discounted utility rates by participating in the community solar program. For us, we do mostly small commercial and residential installations, and we had a kind of an energy giveaway that we've done over the years, where we have folks in the community nominate who they think would be a good um, recipient of a free solar system. And so we had kind of a contest, which was a lot of fun, and we got a lot of great applicants. And we gave a solar system to a single mom who lived here locally, and then another local church that did a lot of community action and environmental education and impact. So those are a couple of the initiatives that we've done here locally to have an impact and on the community for learning about solar and showing the impact of solar as well.
Can you talk a little bit about the recyclability or disposal of solar panels once they reach the end of their useful life?
Sure, that's a question that we do hear about a lot. Is a lot of folks that are concerned about the sustainability of solar panels and the products that they're getting on the roof. And what do I do at the end? Like how long is this going to last? And then what do I do? So um, what happens is that some manufacturers that are U.S. based, typically speaking, actually have a program for taking the product back. Other manufacturers don't, but they will also this become an emerging market for recycling panels themselves. A lot of companies will take panels that still prove to have good life left in them, and they'll ship them over to developing countries that are looking to make microgrids and that don't have any infrastructure for electricity. And instead of building, a conventional utility grid and with power plant, they're looking to localize that and truly distribute that generation really locally in little microgrids. So a small community in Africa, for instance, in a developing country, that it's a lot more effective and sustainable to bring in a small solar system and directly distribute that power locally to the residents.
Right,
So
so you
there's
might want not want the panels on your roof anymore once they're only producing, say, 70% of the power that they used to produce or something like that. But perfectly fine for a village in Africa that might not even have panels at all.
have any power at all, and they might, maybe it takes more panels to get to the place they need, but if they're at a discounted or a cost, that it makes sense to just, okay, we're just going to add another 10, 100,000 panels, depending on the scale and the scope, that we're getting them either at free or very low cost, and then we're able to still deliver electricity. So then the ones they're testing them, and the ones that are not producing or appear to be underproducing, not as effective or showing more end of life indicators, they break the panels down. They take the aluminum, any of the metals out of the cells themselves, and the silicon can be recycled as well. There's glass, aluminum. There's some metals in the panels, and then the silicon itself, and all of that product can be 100% recycled.
Okay. What is the expected lifespan of solar panels that you might put on your roof right now?
That's another great question, and one that we get often, because typically speaking, we everyone talks about 25 years, because like we talked about, um, on another episode, that the warranties are 25 years, right? But the expected life is really more in the area of 40 years, right? And it depends on the panel and the manufacturer. But typically speaking, the panels decline over time, and they have what's called a degradation rate. And they start at, X percentage of their stated value in year one, decline over time. And then in year 25, when the warranty's up, they should be operating somewhere between 80 and 90% of their year one value, which is, I mean, it blows my mind a lot of the times to think that they're still that productive 25 years from now. So even as they decline further over time, you would expect, like you brought up 70%. And I think that's a great number to think of. Like, when is this panel going to be operating at 70%? Is what the industry terms as the useful life, and that can be 40 or more years. So a lot of times these panels do have a lot longer effective life than we consider. So I would say 40 to 50 years is a good expectation for your solar system.
Certainly a lot longer than the battery on my iPhone, which I think is at 80% now.
Right. Exactly.
Good. That's at 25 years or 40 years, like you said, is a really long time to expect a panel to last and still be producing a pretty good amount of its original energy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, we think about vehicles. Like, when was the last time you got or any product, right? When was the last time you got a 25-year warranty on any product that you've purchased?
Are there any emerging technologies or trends in solar energy sustainability now?
I think we see incremental improvements annually and every few years, right? So panels are getting they keep pushing the envelope and getting higher wattages. They get incrementally more efficient. I think aesthetics, they try to make them look nicer for the applications, especially in residential homes. We see a lot of the electronics, right? We're thinking about what this whole energy system can do for our homes and our businesses. So there's a lot more integrations, right? Smart home, a lot of connectivity, and as these develop and they start to have different peripherals that you can add to your energy system, be it batteries, EV chargers, smart panels, and then there's smart home peripherals. Some of the inverter companies that also make batteries as well also have some. They have water heater connectivity that helps kind of throttle back the usage of the water heater when that makes sense. They have connectivity to outlets and lighting, things like this. So you can really start to layer that in as well. And I think we're just going to continue to see more of that as time goes on.